Zhang Yi observed the chaotic desperation in the residents' group chat before coordinating with Uncle Yu to execute a calculated psychological takeover. Uncle Yu initiated the contact, pleading for Zhang Yi to assume leadership, which prompted a wave of sycophantic messages from the terrified neighbors who promised eternal gratitude and submission. Zhang Yi responded with cold disdain, explicitly stating his indifference to their fate and suggesting that their lives were not worth the risk of saving. This calculated cruelty induced panic among the residents, who quickly scrambled to reaffirm their loyalty, promising to obey any order to avoid being left behind to die. Zhang Yi tested their resolve by asking if they would fight the Tianhe gang to the death, and when they hesitated, he feigned a final departure, threatening to let them be slaughtered one by one. This bluff worked perfectly, as Uncle Yu rallied the crowd, arguing that fighting offered a slim chance of survival compared to certain death, thereby securing the neighbors' agreement to follow Zhang Yi's commands. With the neighbors psychologically broken and compliant, Zhang Yi established a regime of absolute control, declaring that any passive behavior or attempt to hide would be treated as betrayal punishable by death. He specifically called out residents like Fong Lin and Liang Yulu who had remained silent, forcing them to reveal themselves under the threat of being hunted down by their peers. The neighbors, driven by selfish survival instincts and fear of Zhang Yi's lethal reputation, eagerly participated in exposing the hiders, creating a self-policing environment where everyone was forced to participate. Zhang Yi made it clear that he viewed them as expendable cannon fodder, necessary to absorb the initial shock of any future attacks on the building. He emphasized that since they had elected him as their leader, they must obey without question, and the blood of the previous 50 victims served as a grim reminder of his willingness to enforce these rules. To solidify their dependence, Zhang Yi offered a carrot alongside the stick, promising to provide food supplies if they behaved. He reasoned that keeping a population alive on the lower floors served as a crucial buffer zone, protecting his 24th floor apartment from structural damage caused by explosives or collapsing floors. He acknowledged the logistical challenge of the 10-meter-deep snow that rendered normal vehicles useless, but revealed his secret advantage: 5 snowmobiles stored in his spatial dimension. This revelation shocked the neighbors, who realized Zhang Yi could move freely through the city while they remained trapped. Zhang Yi confidently stated his knowledge of Tianhe City's warehouse and supermarket locations, positioning himself as the sole provider of resources. This dynamic ensured that the neighbors would remain loyal and obedient, knowing that their survival depended entirely on Zhang Yi's willingness to venture out and scavenge for them, while he secured the ammunition and food he needed for his own defense. The residents of Building 25 erupted in jubilation, their despair replaced by a fervent hope as Zhang Yi announced his intention to venture out and scavenge for supplies. Even those who had previously lost family members to Zhang Yi's hands now looked upon him with profound gratitude, their hatred instantly vanishing in the face of survival. Zhang Yi played the role of the responsible building manager, claiming that his own dwindling resources necessitated this dangerous trip. This pragmatic justification resonated deeply with the starving neighbors, who accepted his narrative without suspicion. Zhou Kor, observing the scene, jokingly suggested that Zhang Yi could easily found a cult given the population's desperate need for a spiritual anchor. Zhang Yi dismissed the idea with a cold smile, revealing his true contempt for the neighbors. He viewed them merely as cannon fodder, noting that a single moldy bun was enough to make them worship him as a deity. When Zhou Kor expressed concern and offered to accompany him, Zhang Yi firmly refused, insisting that a woman should stay home. His tone was gentle, but his actions betrayed his true intentions. He immediately began stuffing the remaining food and coal into his spatial storage, leaving Zhou Kor speechless and resentful as he reverted to his selfish nature. Zhang Yi prepared for his expedition with meticulous caution, marking his first time leaving the apartment building since the apocalypse began. He donned a thick calfskin jacket and a winter coat, creating a bulky but protective silhouette. In a display of improvised tactical ingenuity, he retrieved 2 frying pans from his alternate dimension and strapped them to his front and back, creating makeshift armor capable of deflecting handgun fire. He armed himself with a heavy crowbar, preferring its blunt force trauma capabilities over a machete, and loaded a pistol magazine into his pocket. Fully equipped and feeling secure, he descended the stairs, moving through the silent, uninhabited lower floors of the building. The lower levels were a wreck, with smashed windows and torn security bars, evidence of the Tianhe gang's previous raids. Zhang Yi navigated the debris carefully, exiting through a large hole in the 4th-floor window to reach the snow-covered ground outside. Stepping out into the freezing air, Zhang Yi found the snow knee-deep but compacted enough to support his weight. The Yuelu residential area was deathly silent, save for the howling wind. He retrieved his snowmobile from his spatial storage, having pre-filled it with gasoline. After a brief moment to familiarize himself with the controls, he started the engine, the roar echoing through the empty streets. As he drove out of the residential complex, he sensed eyes watching him from the windows of nearby buildings. Rather than hiding, Zhang Yi allowed them to see him. He smiled coldly, knowing that revealing the snowmobile would tempt others to attack him. He embraced the resulting conflict, believing that creating more enemies and debts was a strategic advantage in the apocalypse. Guided by his memory of the city's landmarks, he navigated the buried streets, ready to face whatever dangers lay ahead. Zhang Yi, after a month of isolation, finally ventures outside his fortified apartment. He mounts one of his 5 snowmobiles and speeds across the snow-blanketed city toward the Public Security Bureau, the last bastion of armaments. Using a shattered window, he slips into the dim, snow-laden corridors, lights a miner's lamp, and searches for weapons. On the second floor he discovers a locked room where the frozen corpses of night shift officers lie, and he bows in quiet reverence before resuming his hunt. Exhausted, he sustains himself with chocolate from his dimensional storage and, after nearly 2 hours, reaches the armory. Finding it sealed by a heavy padlock, he searches the duty room and finds a key. With it, he opens the door to a trove of firearms, from pistols to a sniper rifle alongside 1,000 rounds of ammunition and riot gear. His confidence in his marksmanship swells as he considers the tactical advantages of the new arsenal, especially the sniper rifle's potential for ambushes. Undeterred by the blizzard that has buried front doors in over a meter of snow and plunged temperatures below zero, he leaves the station, rides his snowmobile to a nearly empty supermarket, and sets his sights on Wanda Plaza in the Economic Development Zone, hoping to secure supplies before the city's residents can react.